You cannot transform anybody or anything in a day long or in a 2, 3 days. That's really, I think that is really a false promise if anybody promises that. You can poke into people to raise questions so that they can go further into it if they want to. So you can certainly raise questions in them and make them more curious, but you cannot transform them. That takes a longer toll.
Welcome to Monetize This, where podcasting best practices come to die. I'm David Beckmeyer. Every episode, I poke fun at podcasting gurus, creator advice, and the strange belief that every hobby needs to become a six-figure business. Today, we're leaving podcasting for a minute because it turns out the leadership coaching world has exactly the same problem. Today's guest is Kathy Hadizadeh. And before anyone starts wondering why I'm interviewing another podcast coach, she's not one. She doesn't help people grow podcasts. She doesn't have a course about podcasting. She doesn't promise 10,000 downloads in 90 days. She coaches engineering and technology executives inside organizations, which turns out to be useful because she's looking at exactly the same thing I keep seeing in podcasting, an industry that sells transformation. So why am I interviewing someone who doesn't even work in podcasting? Because podcasting doesn't have a monopoly on guru culture. Leadership coaching has it, business coaching has it, productivity has it, AI has it. Once you start seeing the patterns, they're everywhere. And Kathy is one of the few coaches I've talked to who spends more time questioning the promises than making them.
Many people think of Tony Robbins and those kind of events that he has as transformational. Yes, there is something in there because he jolts the nervous system of a person from what they have been used to into asking questions that maybe they've never dared to ask themselves or they could never see it themselves. So there's a jolt to the nervous system. But will they really change after a 3-day event? Or will they go back to who they were before? Yes, they will come back with like, oh my God, I had this aha moment. But what do you do with that aha moment is the key.
Most coaches either worship Tony Robbins or pretend they've never heard of him. Kathy's answer was basically, the event isn't fake, the promise is. That's a distinction podcasting could probably use, because our version isn't walking on hot coals, it's posting on LinkedIn twice a day. One thing I hear over and over from podcast experts is that they already know your problem before they know anything about your show. It's always the same framework, the same funnel, the same 7-step blueprint. Kathy had a pretty different take.
So really becoming curious about what is it that they're trying to solve for and design for it. And I believe that you have to know who is in the room, if it is an intimate setting, before you can introduce any kind of changing or transformation to them. So I always make a point in my program that have a half an hour kind of debrief with each of the people that is in that room. What you say they get it wrong, I think, is jumping into things without understanding the need, without understanding the people who are going to be in that room, and not spending enough time on designing.
Imagine that, meeting people before prescribing solutions. Honestly, that's almost anti-guru behavior, because gurus don't scale by saying, it depends. They scale by saying, I already know exactly what's wrong with you.
I have a book that is coming, and I have a methodology that is registered, trademark, and I have worked with more than 2,000 people, but I'm not trying to promote any of those things, David, because I believe, some works they should talk to a person. And if it is talking to the person and if it is right for them, then they will pursue it. And if it is not right for them, I don't believe in all of these, let's bang the people on the head enough times so that they can become interested.
That might have been my favorite thing she said, because every marketing newsletter tells you post again, email again, remind them again, create urgency, scarcity, FOMO. Meanwhile, Kathy's over here saying, if it's right, they'll come and find me. I'm honestly not sure she's allowed to say that as a coach.
One of the things that I see a lot, or maybe because I attract the same kind of people as myself a lot, is ambition. People who are high on ambition. A lot of them have certain characteristics. The ambition is high, and because of that, they make a lot of decisions and choices. And those decisions and choices will help them get to really good places, work-wise, money-wise, but that ambition doesn't come with a manual, David. And that ambition doesn't come with brakes. Because you fell in love with the ambition, and everybody says ambition is a good thing, so you think that, oh yeah, it's a good thing. And so imagine you are in love with something and everybody says it's a beautiful thing. Can you imagine how unhinged that can become? And it becomes like you're on a train and the train is going and the train has lost its brakes and you are not jumping off that train. You're still going with it because it's going really fast and it feels really good to be on that train. And that is one of the biggest things, is how do you keep the ambition, curb it, and still keep other aspects of who you are without suffering. That's really one of the biggest things that comes up a lot.
This is not even about podcasting, but it might as well have been, because podcasting has become really good at rewarding ambition. Publish more, clip more, repurpose more, start a newsletter, start another newsletter, launch a mastermind, become omnipresent. Nobody ever sells enough. I don't think Kathy and I agree on everything. I still think some personality assessments drift a little too close to horoscope territory for my taste, but I left this conversation thinking about something else entirely. Maybe the biggest problem with advice culture isn't that it asks us to improve, it's that improvement is always presented as immediate. One framework, one workshop, one funnel, one challenge, one weekend. Real change is slower than that. Podcasting is slower than that. People are slower than that. And honestly, I'm okay with that. So tell us, where can people find you, and where can they learn about your work?
LinkedIn, folks. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. I would love to hear from you and tell me that you heard this conversation on this podcast. I'm curious to see how people come to find my work.
This episode got me thinking about something I've been doing almost every Saturday for the last several years now. Regarding real change taking longer than a weekend, I wanted to mention a podcast meetup run by a friend of the show, David Campbell. Rather than have Dave do a promo about it himself, I spoke with a fellow member of the group, Bill Monty.
I was so lucky to just stumble upon Dave's meetings. The first meeting, I knew this was different than other groups I had belonged to. First off, the other groups I had to pay to be in. And sometimes I was completely ignored, never asked a question or even acknowledged that I was part of a little 5-person group. And so this became something very different for me. And really it was someone tossing me a lifeline, because at that point I was just thinking about giving up podcasting. Dave uses the word community a lot, and that's exactly what we've built. We've built this little podcasting community of people who actually care for each other. There's no judgment. There's no sales. It's a great place to learn, and it's a great place to feel safe.
If you're looking for a podcast community that feels more like a long-term conversation than a weekend transformation, the easiest way to join is visit Dave's site, howtopodcast.ca, and scroll down to the meetup. It's free, and honestly, it's one of the few podcast groups I keep coming back to. That's it for this episode of Monetize This. Find Kathy on LinkedIn. That's Kathy, Kathy, Hadizadeh, Hadizadeh. Kathy Hadizadeh on LinkedIn and tell her Monetize This sent you. Bill hosts a show called Tales from South Florida. You can find that in all the usual podcast places. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you're listening on a podcast app, you can follow the show there. If you're listening on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. And you can always find us at monetizethispodcast.com.